Hello, hello. It's the Wednesday evening edition of Weather for Weather Geeks, another packed edition of this video. We've got a lot to talk about. We've got a system tonight. We've got a lake effect, wind and cold, and then a New Year's warm-up, followed by a lot of cold weather coming in the longer range. So let's get right to it. Let's talk about today. It was a nice day today. After a cloudy start, as we told you about, the sun came out. Midday and afternoon, temperatures got into the upper 30s, and hey, in late December, 38 is kind of a bargain when you consider our averages are around 33, 34 degrees. All right, system number one. Now, this is not the strongest system in the world, but this is going to come through later on tonight and bring us some precipitation when most people are asleep and not out and about. So the timing is pretty good. We don't have school, of course, this week, so that helps with the roads in the morning. Right now, this is largely rain, but you're noticing when I recorded this at around 7:30, starting to see some snow trying to show up in northwest Ohio. This is going to start running into some colder air with a clear sky. Temperatures bottomed out pretty quickly this evening. It dropped from 35 to 29 in 1 hour at the airport. So as this precipitation runs into this colder air, expecting this to be largely wet snow as we go through the overnight. Let's take a look at our high-res futurecast here. This comes in 1 o'clock in the morning or so. And again, you see a variety of colors here. The green, of course, means rain, the white and blue snow, and the pinkish something in between, maybe a rain-snow mix or some sleet pellets. The model is probably overdoing the warm air a little bit here. Again, temperatures bottomed out a little quicker than the models thought this evening. So I lean a little more towards just snow in a lot of our viewing area, while there can be some mixing going on, particularly Route 30 and south. During the overnight hours tonight. All of this, whatever type of precipitation you see, it'll be pretty much tapering off by about daybreak tomorrow morning, and then a largely uneventful period for the daylight hours for tomorrow. As all this heads east, we're going to wait for the lake effect to set up, but that's not going to be really until tomorrow night. So during the daylight hours tomorrow, we're doing all right. Now, with the system tonight, our modeling here is generally 1 inch or less. That jives with our forecast. Here's the tonight period. Everything's kind of clustered around 1 inch or down to a ½ inch. I think some places can see up to 1 inch worth of wet snow out of this. Could someone pick up 2, particularly, say, north of I-80, where there's an even smaller chance of mixed precipitation? Yeah, I can't rule that out. But the most likely accumulation for the most people tonight will be between a ½ inch and 1 inch worth of snow. All right, daylight hours tomorrow, no problems. Here's 4 in the afternoon, maybe a flurry around. That's it. The lake effect gets better organized as we go into tomorrow night. Notice how things kind of light up here as that Arctic air drives over those relatively warm waters of the Great Lakes. And so we're going to see the snow showers getting going tomorrow evening. Roads will start to turn slick in some spots tomorrow night into Friday. Now, Friday, the most active period's probably morning and midday. We may see the snow taper off, the snow shower activity taper off, become less numerous as we get into the afternoon and the evening, as the flow starts to turn around, and a pretty nice turnaround actually for New Year's Eve here on Saturday. Get into a southwest wind, and after a cold, blustery Friday, Saturday, breezy, but not bad. We'll get into the mid-30s for the final day of 2016. Now, this next system is likely to bring us some precipitation later on Saturday. I'll talk about that in a little more detail when I switch sources here in just a second. Let's focus on the lake effect. Here's the snow map for the lake effect portion of this. Late tomorrow night into Friday. Some places could see 10 inches or so in the usual spots. Ashtabula County, parts of Geauga County, Crawford County, PA, Erie County, PA. In our viewing area, again, fairly typical of lake effect here. Your highest amounts are going to be north. Could someone see a ½ foot? Northern Trumbull, Northern Mercer? Yep, that's possible. Greenville, Kinsman, Mecca, Mesopotamia, the usual suspects. 3 to 6 area down to about, maybe Champion or Howland, Newton Falls, heading over towards the Sharon area, Mercer as well. 3 to perhaps as much as 6 in that darker blue zone. I have 1 to 3 for Mahoning County, Lawrence County, southern tier, kind of the I-80 corridor of Trumbull and Mercer County, and then maybe a coating to 1 inch Route 30 and south. So that's the way it looks right now with the lake effect. This will be subject to change as we see how the bands set up. But the biggest impacts for travel would be Thursday night and Friday morning, with lower impacts by late in the day on Friday. All right, it's going to be a windy day on Friday, so the wind chills will be a factor. We're talking wind chills no better than 12 or 13 Friday afternoon. So a blustery, cold Friday. Wind chills will stay in the single digits, lower teens into the evening. All right, New Year's holiday weekend coming up. Here's the forecast. Now, I showed you that system a second ago for Saturday. I think this brings in some precipitation starting late afternoon or early evening. If you're heading out on the roads for your New Year's Eve plans, I don't think this is likely to be a high-impact thing. I think we're looking for largely wet conditions on the roads, although there could be some wet snow and rain mixed in as we go towards the evening on New Year's Eve. Midnight temperature, probably close to 30 as we ring in 2017. And then actually New Year's Day may end up being kind of a day like today, with some sun. Temperatures get into the middle and upper 30s for New Year's Day. All right, so let's talk about next week then. Big changes coming for next week. Here's Sunday for New Year's Day. We're dry. Rain stays south. Then we get into a mild pattern for a couple of days, Monday and into Tuesday. There might be some icing concerns with this precipitation coming in Monday morning, but I think it's likely to be up towards Michigan, Wisconsin, New York. Down here, I think we're probably above freezing to start on Monday. And then with showers around, we'll get into at least the 40s on Monday. And I think we got a shot at 50s on Tuesday, despite some wet weather, maybe particularly early in the day on Tuesday. Here's Tuesday afternoon. The cold air's not here yet. The rain's pushing away. The cold air's back here. And we get into this dry slot possibly Tuesday afternoon. We could get into the mid-50s on Tuesday. The record high, I think, is in the lower 60s on the third day of January. And then some changes, of course. That kind of warmth is not going to last. Our transition day likely to be Wednesday, with colder air coming in, and then it looks cold and blustery at the end of next week. Here's next Thursday. And this next shot of Arctic air has some staying power. I think it's around for a while. Here's Tuesday. The colder air's in the west while the east is warm. But then by the end of next week, here's Thursday. Almost the entire lower 48 covered by this cold air mass. At the end of next week, you have to head to South Florida to escape this, basically. So here's next Friday into next weekend. A lot of purple and cold colors across the lower 48 states and into Canada. Again, really, oops, go back to where I was here. Really, it's just Florida, and especially southern Florida, that escapes this. And again, this has some staying power. The modeling shows this around for at least a few days, maybe even a handful of days. Now, this remains to be seen whether by the 10th of the month we start getting into a warmer regime. I'm not sure if I buy this just yet. But at least a few days of pretty cold weather coming late next week into next weekend, the first full weekend of January. All right, much more on social media this evening as I watch the snow come in. I'll probably do a Facebook Live before the 11 o'clock tonight. So I hope to catch you then. Check out my forecast on TV at 11 o'clock, and I will see you back here for more Weather Geeks Thursday evening.